Howdy folks, it's me, Manic Mark, coming to you from the bunker system located underneath the art villa, found somewhere in the jungle of the Midwest. And you know, it's been really nice weather. We've had really nice weather. Dry, way too dry. Okay, but nonetheless, it's the going into November, and usually by mid-October, it's time for the body to go into that hibernative state of, you know, that wonderful warm cocoon of depression that just overwhelms you and you can't fight it. Every year I think I'm going to be able to fight my way through it, and it's extremely difficult. It'll last a couple of months through about, November, December, January, February. Start to come out of it in February. In March you come out of it. So it's only 4 months of crushing depression. Then you just go into the moderate depressive months of summer, spring and summer after that. And so the Prince of Pointlessness, I'm not wearing the Prince of Pointless Duke of Doom hat today because I was just too lethargic from depression to dig it out of its box. But anyway, that's not why I'm here today. I'm here today because I finally had a thought for a video. So when you're depressed, it's hard to come up with ideas. I'm going to put this album cover on the screen so you can look at it. There you go. You're probably looking at it right now. It's a wonderful album cover of a it's a wonderful album cover of a hot model smoking, or a smoking hot model, however you want to look at it. And I'm going to play this wonderful track from this. This is a great album, by the way. I'm going to play a track from it. I don't know, maybe I'm going to start it now or maybe I'll play it later. I have no idea. Anyway, here I am. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. We're talking about this thing that I want to talk about, which is I find these albums now, and I know, I zero in on it. When I see an album and there's somebody smoking on the cover, I pick it up because you no longer see that type of thing. Smoking I'm sure there's some badass out there smoking a cigarette on an album cover somewhere that's recent, but for general consumption, you will not see smoking in public. Here's another album cover. Here's an Arthur Fiedler Boston Pops album cover where Arthur's being assaulted by all these hot women who want a piece of him, some type of piece. Maybe they just want to rub shoulders with a musical genius, or they want to sleep with him, or they just want his money. I have no idea. But one of the models is smoking, and of course she's probably dead now from cancer. And I probably shouldn't say that because it may possibly, and it's a horrible way. I know from a fact, from both my parents having passed away from cancer, that it's not pleasant. So I'm going to cut all that out. But nonetheless, so there's another example of people in a widely accepted. And my dad grew up, in the generation when they handed out cigarettes in the Army as part of your rations that you got. So they just created a whole, I don't want to get into the whole thing with cigarette companies when they knew what they knew, but you just got to figure, I knew as a kid, without anybody telling me that cigarettes are bad for me, that it wasn't a good idea to put smoke in your lungs. Blah, 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 blah. Thing here is because I just wanted to pose a question, which is, today, what is a widely acceptable social practice? And I don't know, because I'm just asking a question. Like cigarettes, is there a widely acceptable social practice that people engage in that 20 or 30 years from now, should we be lucky enough to live so long or still be a cohesive society with some history that we can refer to, will there be an album cover or some kind of advertising or so forth and so on with images on it that people will look at and go, well, nobody's going to do that anymore because we know better. And of course, alcohol, I don't think it's going to be alcohol unless, and I shouldn't say that because it's possible that a chemist or somebody somewhere may develop some type of drug that a person can take that will not be horribly addicting. It would be some way to alter your state of mind, which as animals we've been working on since I don't know, a caveman, found a semi-hollow log full of fermenting mango juice. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like the Egyptians had beer, right? So we've been trying to get out of the horribleness of our waking hours with drugs for a long time. So it's possible that we, could develop some kind of chemical that would supplant, is that the word? Take over what alcohol does for us now and not be as harsh on our systems, not addictive or harsh, and not leave you with hangovers and so on and so forth. And people will they just won't find any need to consume alcohol anymore, except maybe for badasses, in the movies now and then we'll be drinking just because, it'll just be a thing that will make them look cool. But it won't be widely accepted socially anymore. I'm just asking you, what in your head, is there anything fairly widely socially acceptable practice that is somehow would be damaging to your, and it doesn't even have to be damaging to your health. You can really come up with this science fiction-y story that, culture's going to, politics, it will change the culture so much that certain socially acceptable practices will be banned or outlawed, or then be considered that there's something wrong with what people do now. Cultures changes and practices fall in and out of favor. Like take prostitution for instance. If you review the history of prostitution at certain points in the history of man, certain things were okay and certain things weren't okay. It falls in and out of favor as for whatever, I don't know what, anyway, I got to cut all that out because now I'm thinking I need a beer before, somebody, and I have a picture. I should be drinking a beer on camera because if this video is saved, 50 years from now, people may be watching and go, oh my God, he's got to drink that beer. I can't believe he's going to drink that beer. That's just so funny. So funny. I'm going to go make a video about this video of this guy from 50 years ago drinking this beer because it's so outrageous. I'm going to ask the question, what do we do today